So we already have a really basic main process set up. It's creating a browser window that loads index.html. In our index.html, we have a button that when pressed will open a new window. And then we're requiring in our renderer.js file. So let's use remote to see how we'd wire up that create window button to open a new window when it's clicked. So in our render.js, let's require remote from Electron. And we're also going to need path from Node.js core as well. In our click callback handler on the new window button, let's create our window. So we're going to do new remote.browser window. And we'll give it a height of 400 and a width of 400. And then just like in the main process, we're going to load in index.html. Okay, and before we try this out, we're going to log out remote so we can look at it in the JavaScript console. Okay, let's run our npm start script to try it out. Here's the window that the main process created. So now let's try our open new window button. Cool, and we can see that works. It just came in right on top of it. So you can see that remote is a little easier to work with than IPC. It's more direct and allows you to interact with main process modules as if they were present in the renderer. So we can see we access it using a remote.browser window. So all main process modules are available to the renderer process off of the remote module. Remote may seem like magic, but it's not. So let's start it again and let's look at the console. So I open this with Command-Alt-I on Mac. On Windows, it'll be Control-Shift-I. So here's the remote. And we can see these are all the main process modules, browser window, menu, etc. The Electron team has made a DevTools extension that you can use in Electron called Devtron. So let's npm install that. Npm install save-dev, Devtron. And then at the top of our render.js, we'll require Devtron and then call install. Okay, let's run our app again. We'll open our DevTools. Let me see if I have a Devtron tab now. Okay, and let's go to the IPC tab. Move this over and we'll call record. Let's open a new window. So this is recording all of the IPC that happens. So we can see when we click open new window, quite a bit happens. This is all being called by Electron internally. But you can see that in order for remote to do its work, it's using synchronous IPC to make it happen. Remote has some other handy methods on it. For example, if we wanted to get the current browser window instance that we're in, we'll say current window is equal to remote.get current window. And let's say that we wanted to change the style of the page based on whether the window is blurred or focused. So let's create a function called onBlur. In here, we'll set the document's style. We'll give it opacity 0.2. On focus, we want to restore that to 1. So we'll call our get current window. We'll say onBlur, call onBlur. And then on focus, call on focus. Okay, let's run our start script and see what that looks like. Okay, so let's open a new window. Cool, we can see it in action here. When we focus or blur, the opacity here drops to 0.2, and then when we come back, it's restored to 1. So something like this would be sort of tedious to implement in IPC, but now it's really easy. However, there are some caveats to be aware of. For example, let's refresh our page with Command R or F5, and then focus, blur. So we can see we're getting errors here from the main process. Let's expand this. It says attempting to call a function in a renderer window that has been closed or released. And it gives us a trace back to our file here in line 24. So on focus. So what's going on here? What do these mean? In a nutshell, this is a memory leak. Whenever we refresh the page, the web content instance is destroyed and then recreated. The event listener that we attached right here on focus, on blur, these aren't freed automatically. We have to free them explicitly. So let's see how we fix that. So let's call window add event listener before unload. And so call current window remove listener. And we'll pass on focus and we'll do the same for blur. Okay, let's try this out. So open another window and we'll refresh this one and switch back between them. And so we can see there's no errors being thrown over here. So that worked. So remote can definitely make things easier, but it requires some care when you're registering remote event listeners in particular. So there's a lot more that remote can do actually. This covers the main use cases of reaching into the main process from the renderer process and interacting with main process modules. But be sure to take a look at the Electron documentation and see everything that you can do with it.